wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had a better voice that sang some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that is new. I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. I was told when I get older all my fears would shrink, but now I'm insecure and I care what people think. My name's Blurry Face and I care what you think. My name's Blurry Face and I care what you think. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now it's just us.
And so glad that you are with us. We got some new faces in the crowd, so it's cool to see you guys. If this is your first time, or maybe you haven't been here in a while, I just want to let you know that Kingdom is a place for students and young adults. Okay, so if you are junior high, middle school, or even out of high school, you're in college, or even out of college, this is your place. And I'm getting a phone call right now. What if I answered it and just was like, hello, this is Kansas School District. You want to take my phone? Thank you. Cool. So this is your place. If you're a student, young adult, this is your place to come and be home, your place to this is what you own. So that doesn't matter if you are a Christian or maybe you're just still figuring out what you think about God. That's okay. This is your place still. This is for students and young adults. And I try to say that as much as I can because I really want you guys to understand that this is your place. So whose place is it?
Our place.
Our place or my place. That works too. So, cool. All right, we're in our series called Shatter. This is our last week of it. Can we give it up for Rob? Because Rob made that. Rob's right there. Give it up for Rob. He put his skills to impact the church, and so we love that. We love him, and so glad that he did that for us. And in this series called Shattered, we've looked at two things so far. We spent 2 weeks, and so if you missed it, if you weren't here this morning, I kind of did like an all-around summary of it. But for the past 2 weeks, we talked about we're broken by our sin, and that we broke our lives beyond repair, but Jesus bought a new life for us. He gave us his life, and now we get to live that forever. That's what we talked about the first week. The second week, we talked about last week was we are broken by our choice, and that's a lifestyle. Mark kind of brought it up when he opened into worship. It's we get to choose to break ourselves instead of wrecking our lives. And that when we choose to not break ourselves, we become arrogant and prideful, and we think we're the best, and we think we got it all figured out, and that's when we are really going to mess it up. So tonight I want to end this series, and I had Judith perform that song because we're talking about pain. We're talking about pain, and hopefully you got that from the words. You got that from Judith singing the song, and you could feel the pain. Not only Kelly Clarkson's pain, but you could also kind of feel Judith's pain from singing the song. And so what do we do with our pain? That's what I want to answer tonight. What are we supposed to do with our pain? Because our pain does break us, right? Our pain does leave us hurt. And I'm not just talking about physical pain, I'm talking about all of it. The whole spectrum of pain. There's emotional and mental and all that stuff. What are we supposed to do with it, you know? And you might be surprised by this idea, this statement, but the simple thing I want to communicate tonight, and my hope that you leave here, is really two things. One, I want you to know that the pain that someone's caused you is not justifiable. So like what I'm talking about tonight, and when I give some points and when I read some scriptures, at no point am I saying, hey, whatever happened to you was okay. I'm not saying that. Whatever happened to you was not okay. Whether it was done by family or friends or someone you didn't know. It wasn't okay. It shouldn't have happened. But God has a purpose for it. And so my second thing that I want you to get tonight is don't waste it. Don't waste your pain. Don't waste your pain. There's a purpose for it. You can use it for good. Don't waste it. With that, let's pray. Father God, I thank you for tonight. I thank you for just the talented and willing people that you've brought into this ministry. We have people that are just giving of their gifts, giving of their time, giving of their energy to pour into their fellow young adults and students. There's a community here that wants to see us grow closer to you, God, together. And so we're willing to do what it takes to see that happen. And I thank you for that. That doesn't happen everywhere, God. But you've blessed us with people who are wanting and willing to serve your kingdom. So we just thank you for that. I thank you for the people you brought in here tonight. And I ask that just wherever we are in this spectrum of pain, God, whether we're really, really hurt, really messed up, really not dealing with it, or maybe we have dealt with the pain in our lives at some dimension, God, I pray that you would just bring us to the same page tonight and allow us to be vulnerable with you. vulnerable with you, vulnerable that you'll come and speak to us, vulnerable that you will come and talk to our pain, vulnerable that we could give that pain to you, vulnerable that we could use that pain to impact others, to impact ourselves, and to grow closer to you. And that we would not hide our pain tonight, but that we would do the hardest thing and deal with it. Face it. God, give us courage. Give us courage. We love you. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so talking about pain, I am afraid of physical pain. I don't know if you knew that of me, but I am afraid of physical pain. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. I used to play football badly. I used to play football badly in middle school, and so I can remember this one time where we used to have to do hitting drills. So you'd have a long line of people, and then you would get to the front, and you would just have to run and hit the other person, like in your pads or whatever. And I remember I had to run up against one of like our big running backs, and I'm like this kind of chubby kid, like I'm a big marshmallow at this point, and I'm like I'm verbally freaking out about this so that my whole team is laughing. I'm like, no, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. And like just people are laughing, and I get schlocked by this guy. And just schlocked. Is that not a word? Schlacked? Clocked? Slacked? All right. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. I played football, and I was afraid. It took me a long time to get out of that. I was very timid. It took me a long time till I think now I'm a little bit better, where I'm just willing to just throw my body into things like an Amazon woman with John, just willing to just lay there, and wherever I'm going, I'm okay. But I used to not be able to do that. I still have a problem because this past week when we went to Gravity, I couldn't will myself to do a backflip. Like I couldn't. I don't know what was in me, but I would go, all right, here we go, and I just like fly the wrong direction. It was pretty embarrassing because I really wanted to do a backflip, but I didn't get there. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just never been that guy who's like, I don't feel pain. Hit me in the face. I won't feel it. Yeah, I mean, do you know who I'm talking about? Like those guys in middle school and high school that are like, here, watch me staple myself because I don't feel pain. No? Yeah? Mark, were you that guy? Yeah, Mark was that guy. We found him. You're the weirdo. I'm just kidding. No, dude, those guys were like, hey, play bloody knuckles with me. What? No. Why would I want to hurt my knuckles? Get out of here, dude. So that was Mark. Okay, interesting. I figured it was you. But those guys like, I don't feel pain, man. Like, I'm not that guy. If you come and kick me, I'm going to be pretty upset. So, but, I was thinking about this. I was thinking if we're honest, most of us, maybe not Mark, but most of us freak out when it comes to physical pain. Freak out. I was in our men's small group the other day, and we were talking about death, which I know sounds weird, but it was the content of the small group. And we're talking about death, and the reoccurring theme was everyone wasn't afraid to die. No one was afraid to die, but everyone was afraid of how they were going to die. Everyone was like, I don't want it to hurt. I just want to go to sleep and then die. I was like, yeah, I feel you. I either want that or I want to go down in like blaze of glory where I'm just running at some giant army and just get shot or something. I know that's weird, but that's how my brain works. So, but when it comes to physical pain, I think for the most of us, we are timid against it or we don't want it. Nobody's sitting there going, maybe one person, maybe Mark, but nobody's sitting there going, yes, bring it on, physical pain, I want it. But, when it comes to other types of pain, not just physical, I actually have some really interesting quotes on other types of pain. Physical pain, I think we can all get that concept, but when it comes to other types of pain, when it comes to emotional pain, when it comes to the pain of our past, what people have done to us or what we've done to ourselves, that pain can be a little bit more challenging. So here's what a guy named C.S. Lewis says about it. He wrote a book called The Problem of Pain. I'm going to read 2 quotes by him. The first one is this. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to have slides tonight, so you're going to have to pay really close attention to what I say. And I have a ton of scripture too, so it's going to be real fun. All right, so this is what C.S. Lewis says. He says, mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain. Why is it less dramatic? Well, because it's going on up in here. It's on the inside. You can kind of tell, but you don't necessarily know what I'm feeling right now or what pain I'm dealing with. But if someone just came and chopped my arm off, that'd be pretty dramatic, right? I'd be, oh my God! We'd be freaking out a little bit. But you don't necessarily know that I'm feeling some pain caused by other people on the inside, right? So this is what he says. He says, mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain. but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. Check this out. It is easier to say, my tooth is aching, than to say, my heart is broken. Right? It's easier to say that. When you talk with your friends, what do you go, oh, I have this killer migraine. Right, Linda? I have this killer migraine. She has migraine, so I'm throwing her under the bus. It's easy to say that, right? You can go to your friends and tell them, oh my God, my back is hurting. My bed is made out of water, and it really hurts. You know, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say I sprained my ankle. It's easy to say I got in a bicycle accident, so my shoulder hurts. It's easy to say that. It's harder to say, my dad left me when I was 5. It's harder to say that. That's not something you go and tell someone just right off the bat, right? It's hard to say I was raped. It's hard to say that I have no friends, or my friends have left me. It's hard to say I was rejected by this church. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say I was fired because of whatever reason. You guys get it? See how much harder that's... We don't go around talking about that stuff. You guys changed your tone real quick when I said that. Here's the next quote. We can ignore even pleasure, but pain insists on being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures. He speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone. What? This one that I'm reading right now? Yeah, I'll go over it. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Let me say that again. We can ignore even pleasure. We can ignore pleasure. But pain insists on being attended to. So that's the idea of you have a good time. It's all great. You hang out with your buddies. It was the best night of your life. And then the next day is the worst day of your life. And you forgot about the best day of your life. You can ignore pleasure, but pain, it is substantial and it stays, it lingers. And so God whispers to us in our pleasures. He whispers us in our pleasures. He speaks in our conscience, but he shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to arouse a deaf world. You can't ignore your pain, is the point. If you don't address it, it will break you, and not in the good way. Not in the way we talked about last week. Not in the way where I'm choosing to be broken for God. I'm choosing to be broken so that he can use me and be with me. Remember the lowly and contrite heart? That's where God lives. If you were here last week, that's what we talked about. See, that's choosing to be broken. So God will be with you. But choosing to ignore our pain, that's not being broken. That's hiding. And that's going to break you in not a good way, but in a really damaging shell kind of a way, where you're not left with much. So that's the question tonight. What do I do with my pain? Because we all got it, right? We'd agree with that? We all have pain. There's somewhere along our lines, someone did something to us, and now we're hurting because of it. And maybe we've started to deal with it, but maybe we haven't. So what do I do with it? Well, I'm going to explain some things, and I want to tell you this, and I already kind of stated it, but pain has a purpose. Pain has a purpose, and is good. Not in the fact that you going through pain and someone doing wrong by you is good. That's not good. But pain has good outcomes. We can use pain for good things. Is that making sense? You guys with me? We don't need to do jumping jacks, do we? Everyone's, Ryan, you with me? Okay, he woke up to that.
I'm trying.
Okay. So here's some concepts that you've heard before. If it doesn't hurt, it isn't working. Right? Or this one's probably more common. No pain, no gain. Right? See, we apply that to working out all the time. Right? Mark?
Yes.
Yes, Judith? Yeah, if it doesn't hurt, it ain't working. No pain, no gain. 10 more squats, let's go. See, I don't know what I'm talking about right now because I don't work out. So, isn't it so weird that we apply that to physical pain, but we don't apply that to any other type of pain? We think any other pain is not good. We avoid it. We try to run from it. If we have some, we just bury it deep and ignore it and just hope it just never comes back up. No pain, no gain. So let's talk about it. 6 things that pain does for us. 6 things. Pain, number 1, teaches you. Pain teaches you. You ever touch a hot stove? Mom said, hey, don't touch that. And you're like, shut up, Mom. I'm going to touch it anyway. You touch the stove, burn your hand. Well, if there wasn't pain there, you know what would happen? You'd lose your hand because you would leave it there. But pain is there, so you go, oh, snap, don't touch that. Isaiah 48:10. I'll try to go slow through the scriptures so you guys can get them. Isaiah 48:10. Isaiah 48:10 says this. Behold, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tried you in the furnace of affliction. That sounds intense, right? See, God, He doesn't necessarily put you through pain. He allows pain to happen. And we know in Genesis that the world is cursed because of sin, and so that we know pain is going to happen. And God says, I allow those things to happen so that they refine you, so that they teach you, so they make you better, they make you stronger. Because they're going to happen. So God could just go, I'm going to let pain's going to happen, and you guys are just going to have to deal with it. Or God could say, pain's going to happen, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to help teach you through that pain so that you can come out refined, better, pure, holier. Number 2, pain draws you closer to God. Pain draws you closer to God. Now remember, all of these things you have to let these things happen. You have to let pain, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You have to let pain work. You can't waste pain. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But pain draws you closer to God. In 2 Corinthians 1:8-10, Paul wrote this. Hey, can we get the shatter slide up there? This is like really dark. It's like freaking me out. I don't want anybody to fall asleep. So 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 8-10. For we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction we experienced in Asia. So Paul is talking to Corinth, and he's saying, listen, me and some other believers, we were experiencing some affliction, okay? And so I want you to know this. And he says this, for we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death. So they're feeling like they're going to die. They're feeling like they're going to die. They're feeling like this is death. This is death is coming. So they're feeling like they're going to die. They're thinking they're going to die. And what happens? But that was to make us not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. Verse 10, He delivered us from such a deadly peril, and He will deliver us. On Him we have set our hope that He will deliver us again. You know what I hear in that? Paul is saying, we went through this terrible affliction. It felt like death. We thought we were going to die. It was terrible. And what did God do? He delivered us from it. He delivered us from this deadly peril. So you know what we do now? We know we're going to experience more affliction. And we're trusting that God's going to bring us through that also. They're saying we're willing to go through more affliction. You go through some kind of pain. I don't want to go through that again. What are you talking about? Paul is saying, I'm willing to go through that again because I know God is going to be there to deliver me. I'm going to put my hope in God. I'm going to draw close to God. I'm going to trust God to bring me out of that pain. Because He did it there, He's going to do it again. You guys with me? Okay. Number 3, pain brings us closer to others. Pain brings us closer to others. 1 Corinthians 12:26. If one member suffers, all suffer together. Man, that was like Amazon woman. Like, my brothers, they're just being ripped apart. I'm like, I'm suffering with you, man. I'm with it. You know, it's much bigger than that. And it says also, if one member is honored, all rejoice together. See, that part sounds cool. If Rob gets honored, man, I'm going to get honored too, because we get honored together, because he's my brother. When Preston gets honored, I'm going to get honored, because we get honored together, because he's my brother. See how that works? Same with affliction. Same with pain. If you're suffering, then I'm suffering. Because we're brothers, we're sisters, we're family, we're the church. If you're hurting, I'm hurting. And so pain should bring us together. That's one of the purposes that we can find in it, is it brings us together. You know, I think we do that pretty well at this church. You know, we've had tons of people get cars. We've had tons of people, just come around people who are sick. We've had tons of people go to visit at the hospital. We've had tons of people surround others during times of like a funeral or some kind of pain like that. I think we're really good at that here at this church, but for you, pain can bring you closer to others. It's something that's going to help you relate to other people because you are not alone in your pain. And you're not the only one who's been hurt. We all have. Number 4, pain transforms you. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 16 through 18. So we do not lose heart, though our outer self is wasting away. Our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. As we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, meaning they move, they don't last forever. But the things that are unseen are eternal. Just get that part again. Though our outer self is wasting away, though we are physically in pain, though we are physically afflicted, though we are physically feel like we're gonna die, our inner self is being transformed. It's being renewed day by day. It's being prepared. See, your pain prepares you. Your pain transforms you. Your life here on earth, guys, I want you to look at me because I want to know that this is getting to you. Your life here on earth doesn't last forever because you are with Jesus at the end of your life. This is just this is the first step. You're going on to greater things. This life here on earth is preparing you. It's making you perfect. It's making you holy. What we would call the sanctification process. That when we believe in Jesus, He perfects us. He makes us more holy. When we begin to follow Him and look like Him and all those things, He begins to sanctify us. Well, that pain is a part of that process. And if we allow it, it can transform us to where we're not worried about our outer self, but we're worried about our inner self that's being renewed day by day, and it's waiting for eternal glory. You guys with me on that? All right, almost done. Number 5. Pain helps others. This one's probably maybe one of the easiest to comprehend. 2 Corinthians 1, 4 through 6. So chapter 1, 4 through 6. He, being God, comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. God comforts us so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. For the more we suffer for Christ, the more God will shower us with His comfort through Christ. Even when we are weighed down with troubles, it is for your comfort and salvation. For when we ourselves are comforted, we will certainly comfort you. Then you can patiently endure the same things we suffer. Now, you're probably getting a pattern here. That Paul is talking a lot about suffering for Jesus, right? He's talking about affliction because of what they believe. And Jesus says, hey, if you believe in me, if you believe in Jesus, you are going to experience suffering. You are going to experience affliction from the world. But Jesus says, if you love me, the world will hate you. And so part of our pain is that. Maybe you haven't experienced that yet, but you will. But this still applies to the whole spectrum of pain. Listen, when you are going through pain, God's going to comfort you so that you can use that pain, that experience, to comfort others. Yeah? Okay. Last one, and then we'll get into what we're going to do with all these things and how we're going to make them happen in our life. Number 6, pain witnesses to the world. Pain witnesses to the world. Philippians 1:12. I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me, and that's Paul speaking. Paul has had a lot of things happen to him. So just to give a real couple, he was whipped, flogged 5 times. So that's where they take a whip on the back, bare back, 39 times, because 40 kills you. 39 times. Did that 5 times to him. 5 times 39. That's how many scars he has on his back. Okay? He was stoned. That's where they tie you to a tree and just throw rocks at you until you die. You're not supposed to walk away from that. But he walked away from that. So he's experienced A lot of physical pain, but a lot of emotional pain, a lot of mental pain. People have betrayed him. People he thought were his brothers, people that he thought were his friends, left him, abandoned him. He experienced a lot of the same things that Jesus did. What does it say? That what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. What has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. So he's not thinking about how terrible his circumstances were in his life, and I'm sure they were. He's thinking, man, I've been through some tough stuff, but you know what it's done? It's brought people to Jesus. It's brought people to follow him. It's advanced the kingdom. It's advanced the gospel, and all of this has done really great things. You know, I think of things like 12-step and AA, and you know, I'm at the rescue mission. Some of you guys know that, and dealing with a lot of people that have addictions to drugs or alcohol or whatever. And one of the main things that you see in this community of people is if you don't have an addiction, they're probably not going to listen to you that much. If you haven't gone through something like they have, if you don't have some kind of story that they can relate to, you kind of lose a little bit of an in with them. You know, because I mean, just to be honest, I haven't had an addiction. And so now the guys are just like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. But I don't have as much credibility with them. You see, in that world, it's not about like success. Like obviously, people who have addictions and who have found recovery, like they look to that and they're like, oh, cool, that guy's done it, so I can do it. But more often, when you go to an AA meeting, you go into those type of environments, the thing that they resonate with is hearing someone else's story, and they go, that's like me. Not the story necessarily of success, because some of these guys don't have success, but the story of pain and suffering caused by their addiction. That's what they go, oh, I can relate to that. See, the same thing is with our pain. Our pain is going to be a message of salvation to people. Our pain is going to be something that we can relate to with people that's going to be an in for the gospel. That's going to advance the gospel. You guys get what I'm saying here? Okay. So, all that said, there's 6 things that pain does. I'll go through them real quick one more time. Pain teaches you. Pain draws you closer to God. Pain brings you closer to others. Pain transforms you. Pain helps others. Pain witnesses to the world. And that's not all of it. I just little scratched the surface. There's so much more that pain does in our lives. But let me just end it with this. Galatians 3:4 says this, "Did you suffer so many things in vain? If indeed it was in vain." Did you suffer these things in vain? Listen, you have hurts. We have hurts. We have pains. People have left us. People have abandoned us. People have hurt us. Agencies have hurt us. We have hurt ourselves. We got pain. But was it in vain? Did you just have it and now you're just existing? Or was there a purpose to your pain? Is there a purpose to your pain? Does God want you to use your pain for something great? Listen, I'll talk for me. I'll talk for me. I don't have too much pain, you know. When I was 6, I had cancer. When I was in high school, I had a dad who was high all the time and wasn't able to teach me how to be a man. And so I was flying blind, and I made really bad choices. I fell in love with a girl, and she was just bad news. And I worshipped her like God, and so I caused a lot of damage in myself. Those are probably my 3 most painful things. The 3 things that if I could go back, if I could go to God like a genie, I would say, God, I don't want these 3 things to happen to me. But that's me looking at my pain as if it was in vain, as if it didn't have a purpose, as if it didn't mean something, as if God didn't say, Brendan, I allowed those things to happen so you could use them as a message to impact other people. So that maybe when you meet a young guy who has dad issues, that you can relate with him and you can speak into his life. That maybe you worship that girl and you cause a lot of pain in yourself, but maybe you can show other people how to honor God and the relationship at the same time. Maybe you can speak to that. See, there's a purpose for our pain if you choose it. If you choose to see it that way. So my call for us tonight is don't waste your pain. Don't let it just have happened to you and then it doesn't mean anything. See, we're going to do this as there's these cards that the group members are going to give to you when we go in discussion groups. But it has 4 things, and it says, like your top 4 most painful experiences in your life. That's your message. Whatever has happened to you, that was those most painful memories. So maybe it is a parent thing. Maybe a parent left. Maybe it is someone physically or mentally or emotionally or verbally abused you. Maybe that's a pain. Use those 4 pains, the most 4 painful experiences in your life. I'm going to end with a verse and a quote and pray. Don't waste your pain. Romans 8:18. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. So we have something so much greater to look forward to. So to dwell on how messed up our pain is and how hurt we are, it doesn't do us any good if we look at it as in vain. But if we look at it as those things happen to me, I need to deal with them, and I will find purpose in them. If I don't waste it, they will do good on this earth. We're going to impact so many people. Rick Warren put this, and then we'll pray. You can handle unbelievable pain if you find a purpose in it. Jesus handled the cross because he had purpose. Yeah? Let's pray.